Welcome to An Irish Cottage in the Woods, the YouTube channel to accompany the Facebook page of the same name. This is the inaugural video in order to answer those who, what, when, where, why questions. So we'll start with who. First of all, there's me. I'm 57 years old. I'm an eco-activist. I've spent the last 30 years lecturing freelance in environmental science and eco-living, and doing as much as I could whilst living in semi-detached suburbia. Then there's my other half, my lovely husband, who in 2012 suffered a minor spinal injury, which at the time seemed devastating, but in fact meant he could take early retirement and allowed us to sell up in the UK and buy this place. It took a little while, but we got there. The when? Well, by the time we'd sold up and come over here, we bought this place 3 years ago. And slowly we've been trying to tame it ever since. As you can probably see as I pan around what we call Broadacre, the biggest field of the holding, we haven't done much in the way of taming. The plantation below us is Sitka. That's a whole nother video. So our land runs down to the edge of that dark wood. As I pan round, what you're seeing there is the fairy wood in front of the cottage, and the little white V in the centre of the screen just beyond the pallets is actually the cottage. The other building nearer to the camera with the brightly coloured windows is in fact the she shed or potting shed. I apologise for the camera shake, but I don't have a video camera. I only have my phone at the moment. So I'm afraid that's as good as it gets right now, but I'm hoping to do better. And we're looking across what used to be my vegetable plot. I was kind of busy last year and it all reverted to rush. So I've got it all to tame again, and I'm hoping to get the polytunnels up this year. Rushes. Yes, Irish rushes. These are Irish rushes. It's January now, so they're stark and brown and not doing much. But these thorns are like needles, and they make the ground a little bit wet because they hold the water at their moisture, hold the moisture at their roots. And we've got a fair few of them. We've got 11 acres here, all of it boggy rushland. So that's the when, and the where. Well, the where, we're in North Leitrim. In this shot, in the distance, you can actually see Fermanagh and Donegal and Sligo. And if I try not to make you too travel sick, if I turn round slowly, beyond, in that direction, probably not today because it's quite hazy, but on a clear day we can see Neffin, which is in County Mayo. Excuse me. That is a tree we call Yggdrasil. It's almost exactly in the middle of our land. The land goes off to a curve over there. The fields we call Ash Parva and Ash Magna, because there's a big one and a little one. And we curve off over there too, up to Forest Hill. I don't know if the camera's picking up the noise, but I can hear the river. I don't know if you can from here. The river has no name at this point. It only actually starts a couple of miles further up there. It's a very small river and nobody ever bothered to name it, so we've named it the River Coo. And then if you can see, the land actually curves down and back up. We have running between a little brook which we've called Dove Brook. Looking that way, the beautiful green lands that you can see are our neighbour's lands, as is the big cattle shed. And those trees over there are also part of his land, the big trees. They're where his mother's cottage is, which is abandoned now, which is such a shame. The neighbours think we're crazy because we're actually taking the little stone cottage back to the stones and completely refurbishing it. As far as they're concerned, we should knock it down and build some massive concrete edifice with 97 bedrooms and 96 en suites and a family bathroom and a downstairs cloakroom. And they think the fact that we want to live in a tiny little stone cottage, which when we've finished will still only have one bedroom, off-grid, self-sufficiently up here in the wilds of North Leitrim, they've just decided that it's just proved that every English person they've ever met is completely barking. But that's fine. Why do we want to live here? Well, look. That's what I wake up to. That's the view from my office. Those beautiful mountains. They're a bit misty today, but at least you can actually see them. I tried to make a video yesterday and the fog was just so dense there was no hope. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face most of the day. So today is the first chance I've had. So that's why. Why? Because we think this planet is worth saving. We don't know of a better one. And this is one of the most beautiful places on earth. I'm hoping that as the time goes on, I'll be able to get a decent movie camera and a decent microphone so you can hear what I'm saying better and see what we're doing here better. But the idea being that we take you with us on our journey, showing you how we do what we do. I'm not suggesting it's right for everybody. I'm not suggesting you should do as I do. If you want to, terrific. But it's not going to be for everybody. It's just what we do and why. And I want to share this beautiful place with people who are stuck in an office all day. Because, sheesh, I ain't half lucky. So I'm going to stop and then pick this up in a minute, because if I try and walk and video it, you'll very, very quickly become seasick. I'm now standing at the other side of Broadacre, looking back towards Yggdrasil. And I'm going to pan round, slowly I hope, without giving you too much feeling of nausea. The post you can see with the concrete block on it is the corner of where the vegetable pot starts, and it then spreads up. As we come round, you can see the state of the path here. It's horrifically muddy, so we need something done with that. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. These are self-set alder, which are being allowed to grow to their full height because they're basically going to provide shelter from the winds. And now you're coming round. This is the biggest self-set alder. It's actually taller than me now by a good couple of feet. When I first found it, it was knee-high 3 years ago. The rusty roof you can see is our bothy. You can just make out the corner of the cottage. And then we come round to my she shed, which the windows and doors of which were made out of bits of the old banquettes out the mobiles in which we live at the moment. Between me and the she shed is what we call Middle Dyke. This is Middle Dyke. There's a ford across to the she shed, and it actually disappears off underneath all that undergrowth and heads on down. There's quite a flow rate going on, but all this grass has regrown. We had this cleared last year and it's all regrown. The fecundity of this country is wonderful, but it is a bit of a pain when you're trying to keep on top of things. And there we have the she shed, which houses things like my potting bench, spare plant pots, etc. Needs a bit of love and attention, and it's standing on an outcrop of bedrock. It is, as you might see, quite a bit higher up than the cottage. I'll now take you down to the cottage itself. So this is the cottage. It's made of stone. It was built approximately 100 years ago. It doesn't appear on the 1911 census, but it does appear on the 1916 census. So that's about as accurate as we can find. It's always belonged to the one family until it was inherited by a bachelor son who left it to a distant niece, which is where we bought it from. And these are our chickens. They're a bit fed up with me today because they've been shut back in while I make videos. They're usually allowed to wander freely. Not usually together though, because the two lots squabble. I know, you're itching to get inside the cottage. You're going to be horrified. Come with me on a journey of wonders. into my cottage. You'll notice the plastic in the door. Well, that's basically because the glass broke and it's just easier to use polythene for the time being. This is animal feed and timber waiting to be chopped into kindling and sawdust when we clean out the guinea pigs. This is the main room of the cottage as it is at the moment. Cat boxes for transporting hens. Dog beds waiting to be taken to the charity shop. Various different boxes and rubbish. I'm trying to walk as steadily as I can. I apologise for the camera shake. There's not a lot I can do about that with this, I'm afraid. Walking on through, as you can see here, we investigated how far back the stonework was. All this concrete has to come off. Oops, sorry, that's me kicking a spare radiator. Everybody has a spare radiator. I have 3. You want a radiator? I'm selling them. Oh, hello, mouse. This beautiful room used to be the bedroom. I say the bedroom, it would have been the master bedroom. And it will in fact be the far end of our kitchen. That strange cubby hole was discovered as we took the concrete off on the wall. And I don't know if we can see this with the camera on this little phone, but originally, and I'm hoping I can draw this on later, the roof was much steeper and much lower, and it would have in fact lined up with the top of the window. So if you follow the eye round about here, it would have gone up there, and that's where it would originally have gone. So it was built to take a thatched roof. In fact, never had one. It had a tin roof, as it will again. And this strange little cubby hole that I did a sort of test pit digging back had us flummoxed a few weeks ago. We're still not quite sure what it was. The timber runs right into the end wall, or it did. It's been a bit mouse-eaten since. And it's only a few inches deep. No, it's not the length of my fingers deep. And yet that is original cob mortar behind, and there's a curve in the paint design. It's very strange. And that's the corner of the cottage. So, and then we move round. I'll try not to blind you. And we come round to the chimney wall, which had its own niche or cubby hole, which has a most beautiful lintel above. Unfortunately, this chimney breast, or chimney, is made of the local sandstone, which is known to geologists as rotten sandstone, because it does. It's only just rock, and it crumbles and rots away, and this whole chimney breast is rotten and crumbling. So it's coming down. And here, again, you can see the original height of the door was here. And that's where the door lintel would have been. And there's a matching scar on the far side. And that would have then followed along above my old carpet to the height of the window. And then again round, and you can make out the scar on the far wall. It's quite fascinating to cut this all back. All of the stuff that they've used above there to raise the roof was done to make the place look posher. Which is lovely. It gives us nice high ceilings now. But yes, this stack will come down. And in fact, a partition wall will go at the far end here to divide the front door off. And all of this will be part of our living room cum kitchen. Let me take you through to the third room, because again, this chimney breast, this is the back of it, leading up, and the front of it is in the end room. And again, it's absolutely sodden we've put buckets down to catch the worst of the water pouring down it. So again, this chimney will come down. Although this wall will pretty much be rebuilt, because we're walking into what will one day be the master bedroom. It would originally all have been one room. It was divided into 2 rooms, bizarrely, in 2011, when work was done to create a shower room, which is where the hi-fi is, that's dazzling the camera. And this room at the moment is being used, as you can see, for storage. And in fact, there is a chimney and a fireplace behind there, but I can't show you that because of all the junk and storage. In here, a shower room was formed. The shower trays we've already taken out. The toilet we still use, although the top of the cistern got broken. It does flush, it does work, it's a perfectly functional WC, and it goes to a septic tank, which is useful. And the hand basin, again, similarly. So we do still use this. It's the only bit of the cottage we are using. It will, of course, be replaced with a composting toilet at some point in the not too distant future. And I'm sure you really enjoyed having a close-up look at the toilet. The jars, you can see, are ready for the summer's fruit, because this year, this is our cold store. The pot is sellotaped down to keep the mice out. So that's got soup in it. And the green earthenware pot, actually I think that's the cast iron one. That's got dog food in. And then we've got butter and cheese and so on. And then here we've got all the pickles and things that are being stored for the time being in what is really a very cold little house. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Eventually, we will open that wall up there. And I'm going to take you round now to the other side of that. Because on the other side of it, it is very clearly the old back door. I apologise if I wobble a bit, but I'm now stepping out onto the marsh. But you can clearly make out the down lines of the door, I hope. Sadly, the lintel's missing. It would have been about here, and it's sadly missing, but we will reopen that door. So I'm now going to turn around with my back to it. Yeah, they're all my plants overwintering in the south sunny bit of the lee of the cottage, and where they are will one day be a conservatory. And all this land will be cleared of all this junk and rubble, and this is where the conservatory will be, and where the oil tank and central heating boiler that has never been used, they're being sold. Where they are will be the bathroom and larder, walk-in larder pantry. The rainwater collection at the moment there is used mainly for topping up things like the chicken water and for water in the garden. And all of this will be cut back and cleared so that we can actually enjoy the back garden. And there's the far end of the she shed. That's the northern door of the she shed. That wonderful thing is what we refer to as the creepy, almost dead tree. It's an alder that isn't really very healthy and will indeed have to actually be felled, probably this year. It's too near to the cottage and too dead to be allowed to run the risk of falling on us. That's the bothy. The roof's been sliding off since we bought the place. All that's holding it on is the fuchsia. I'll show you. I don't know if you can make it out, but growing through the roof is a branch of the fuchsia bush. This one. And that is all that's stopping this roof from coming off completely. The bothy, bless it, was a beautiful stone building once in a time. This is all the junk that was here when we moved in, that I've yet to deal with. It's mostly scrap metal. Previous fridges and cookers and heaven knows what that Mother Nature is desperately trying to reclaim, and in fact will be dealt with. I am of the opinion that if it's here, it's mine to deal with. And I don't believe in throwing away because there is no away. Where was going to throw it? Mars? No. So it's mine to deal with. And I will in fact sort something out to do with all this. I don't really want to take it to a tip or quote recycling centre unquote. They don't really recycle it, they just send it to landfill. And I'm now going to take you around and show you the view at the front. Warts and all. Okay, what you're looking at here, all those bags, every single one of them is rubble that we've taken out of the cottage with a robin whizzing about. Why haven't we thrown the rubble away? Well, because it's concrete and bits of plasterboard and will be used to form paths. And it'll be topped off with the ash from the fire, from the turf fire that we burn, and that will make our paths. We waste nothing. Although the chickens would quite like me to finish this now so that they can come out and have a play. And I think you've listened to me witter enough for today. So as an inaugural video, I think this one explained who we are, what we're doing, and why we're here reasonably well. And I'll try and make another video in a week or so's time, by which time I might have a better microphone or indeed a better camera. We shall see. But for now, thank you for watching, and head over to Facebook, like the Facebook page. Please subscribe to the channel, it costs you nothing, and as soon as I get 100 subscribers I can start editing better, and if we can get up to 1,000 subscribers it lets me do all sorts of clever little tricks. Probably get rid of some of the wobble. So thank you for watching, and I'll chat to you again in a week or so's time.